Now, this is one of the most classic examples of libtard illogic you'll ever see. Quentin Tarantino, interviewed by a Hollywood reporter, man of color, who's asking him some questions on a movie that he made, Durango Unchained or whatever it was called, about slavery and redemption and revenge. Jamie Foxx plays this hotshot black avenging cowboy stud. And here Quentin Tarantino, when asked about frivolous violence, gratuitous violence, shuns the question after he makes a point of trying to share with the public his view of the American Holocaust of slavery. And he says we've dealt with the Native American Holocaust. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. How did we deal with that? We gave him casinos? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know when this great reconciliation was for Native Americans, but in Quentin's mind, that's been put to bed. But this black thing, the black question Holocaust, he and he only can share the wisdom of the ages with the rabble public.
I'll ask you about violence. I mean, you said, everyone knows you make violent movies, you like violent movies. Why do you like making violent movies?
I don't know. It's like asking Judd Apatow, why do you like making comedies?
Because it makes you money, you creep.
You just get a kick out of it, or you just enjoy it.
Well, I think it's good cinema. I consider it good cinema. You sit there in a movie theater when these cathartic violent scenes happen. I'm talking about the cathartic violent scenes. I'm not talking about there's two types of violence.
You mean like when the big black man in Pulp Fiction gets sodomized by rednecks? Right? You troublemaker. You sick psychopathic freak. Look at this man's face. Look at his eyes. This man's insane. Only Hollywood would reward a degenerate psychopath like this guy with millions of dollars.
There's the brutality of the violence in the day put upon the slaves
the rape
during the time. I don't think there's any rape going on in the movie. All right, but there's brutality to the slaves. That hasn't been dealt with in America to the extent that I deal with it, and I'm showing.
Really?
There was two Holocausts in America. This is one of them. We've dealt with the Indian Holocaust, the Holocaust of the American Indian in America. But we haven't been dealing with the Holocaustic aspects.
Does anybody know what he's talking about out there? We've dealt with the American Indian Holocaust. Does anybody know what he's talking about?
Auschwitzian aspects of the slave trade in America. My movie deals with that. Then there's the cathartic violence.
Did you hear what he just said? Auschwitzian.
And I'm showing you that there was two Holocausts in America. This is one of them. We've dealt with the Indian Holocaust, the Holocaust of the American Indian in America. But we haven't been dealing with the Holocaustic aspects, the Auschwitzian aspects of slave trade in America. My movie deals with that. Then there's the cathartic violence of Django paying back blood for blood.
And is that why you think people like watching violent movies? People who are not violent people, or twisted people in any way, that why it's okay to go into a movie and enjoy the violence?
Yeah, well, it's a movie. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. It's not real life. It's a fantasy. You go and you watch a kung fu movie, and one guy takes on 100 people in a restaurant. That's fun.
But why you?
That's fine. But an incendiary, racial instigating, violent movie. What's your real agenda? You hear his dog whistles? Liberals accuse Republicans of this. There, in fact, again, is a great example of liberals. What they accuse Republican conservatives of doing is what they do. So who's he dog whistling to when he uses adjectives like Auschwitzian, Auschwitzian to evoke the Jewish empathy and Holocaust perpetrated, as if what the blacks in America went through was on par with the 6 million Jews killed in Europe. And there were 9.2 million Jews in Europe. When Hitler was done, there was less than 3 million. But we're going to talk about Auschwitzian.
I'm so sure that there's no link between enjoying movie violence and enjoying real violence.
I'm going to tell you why I'm so sure. Do not ask me a question like that. I'm not biting. I refuse.
See, the white guy isn't going to bite. Now, he just gets done with a dissertation about slavery and the evil white people and what they did to the poor black man. And lo and behold, watch the dynamic where he becomes Master Quentin over the weak and defiled, inane black Hollywood interviewer. Watch this.
Your question.
Why?
Because I refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master. You can't make me dance to your tune. I'm not a monkey.
I can't make you answer anything. I'm asking you interesting questions.
And I'm saying I refuse.
Okay, well, no, I was just asking you why.
How's that for a choice of words? Saying to a man of color, I'm not your monkey. I'm not your slave. You're not my master. Did that not just expose the psychopathic hypocrisy of a guy like Quentin Tarantino? I can't stand looking at this freak. I hate any movie he's ever made. Not that I would ever pay to watch him. But this guy's insane.
But you see, Jamie Foxx has said, we can't turn our back and say that violence in films...
Well, then you should talk to Jamie Foxx.
Then
you should talk to Jamie Foxx about that. And I think he's actually here, so you can.
I'd love to, but I mean, it's interesting that you have a different view, and I'm just trying to explore that.
And I don't want to. Because I'm here to sell my movie. This is a commercial for the movie. Make no mistake.
So you don't want to talk about any...
So let me break that down. You're my slave, I'm the master. And I want to make money selling my movie. Running my plantation. And you, slave boy, need to acquiesce and ask the questions that I choose for you to ask. That's not tyranny. Right? That's not subjugating. I mean, this is a perfect expose to all the blacks in America that don't understand the logic of Trump and why guys like me are such Trumpians. This is what you need to understand. Because those white guys that cozy up to you and, hey, brother, and they give you the black man handshake and power to the people and all that 70s jive. When they walk away, you ought to know what they're thinking. And you really ought to know what they're saying. Because it's not what they're saying to your face.
Serious.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the implications of violence. I haven't wanted... the reason I don't want to talk about it is I've said everything I have to say about it. If anyone cares what I have to say about it, they can Google me. And they can look for 20 years what I have to say about it. I haven't changed my opinion one iota.
Now, I don't care what you black people want to say. I'm the master of this here plantation. And you're going to tote that bale. And you're going to move that cotton. Because that's the way we always done it down here. You see, he would mock some southerner from an epoch in time much more primitive and much more natural than a time of our own. Right? And look how he behaves. The perfect tyrant.
No, but you haven't fleshed it out.
It's not my job to flesh it out.
No, it's my job to try and ask you to.
And I'm shutting your butt down.
And that's entirely your
This is a commercial from my movie.
No, but it's my job to try.
This is my plantation. Now listen here. You won't be telling me how to run my business. This is my plantation, Negro, and you're going to do what I say, because I'm Quentin Tarantino, Esquire. I hope this enlightens a few people that need to be enlightened.